Beryl, the primary feature on the map. Do want to acknowledge another tropical wave, Invest 96L. This one going to follow about 2 days behind Beryl. Doesn't look like it will be organizing, but that's going to be why next week gives us additional rainfall behind Beryl through the mid to late parts of next week. This is the main feature on the map. Beryl, Category 2 hurricane. It's weakening on approach to the Yucatan. Still very strong, though. Gusts of 130 miles per hour, moving west-northwest, 20 miles per hour. It'll weaken more over the Yucatan, down to tropical storm force as it reemerges in the Gulf of Mexico this weekend, and a re-intensification up to Category 1 hurricane status on approach to either the northern Mexican Gulf Coast or the South Texas Gulf Coast. And the cone extends all the way as far to the north as south of the Houston area. So that's a really, again, big cone at day 5 there. This is going to strengthen, and it's starting to look like a focal point on the cone, at least, of that Texas-Mexico border, with the landfall coming on Monday morning. And there's the broad look at the cone. The spaghetti plot is going to show that same trend, with a lot of the grouping of the models right over the Texas-Mexico border. And I'm really interested to see how the forecast unfolds, after landfall, because some guidance, like the European here, wants to send this up the Rio Grande. You see a little group of modeling wants to send that up the Rio Grande. A track like that after landfall would be less of a concern for us. But another group of models, we're talking about that northward turn all week, want to turn this and basically parallel it along the coastline, which would mean that if a storm is moving, let's say along the Interstate 69 corridor, you'd still be getting the Gulf influence, and it could stay, somewhat together, being close enough to the Gulf. So that's going to be a part of the forecast we really are looking for. And I want to just make this statement: minor shifts in the forecast track can mean very big shifts in specific impacts that a location gets. And we're not talking about big shifts. We're talking about 50 miles or so, which is not a lot. When you're talking about how this center line looks, 50 miles puts it right through Jim Wells County, but 50 miles to the west puts it into Mexico, and our threats would be a lot lower. So with these forecast images here now, these are going to change with shifts in Beryl's central track. This is what I'm basing it off of. This is the Hurricane Center's forecast for the track, and they do a fantastic job. They're the best in the world at track. So I'm basing the wind off that. The strongest winds are going to be in the valley, primarily south of our viewing area. I think Corpus Christi and a lot of areas south of Highway 44 in line for tropical storm force conditions. 30 to 50 mile per hour winds, could have some gusts up over 60 miles per hour. And that's how the wind is looking Monday as the storm moves in the morning and then tracks to the north throughout the day. The rain chances, those are going to start to go up a little on Sunday, but Monday is going to be the focal point for Beryl's rain, and we could be looking at 4 to 6 inches up and down the coastal counties of our viewing area, more to the valley, less toward the watershed. And again, these rain totals are going to shift with respect to how the track of Beryl looks. That's the center line right now, and I'm going to use that as my guide for how these rainfall totals end up looking. And these are all hand-drawn maps. These aren't models. This is just how it looks to me with respect to the track that is currently the forecast for the storm. In addition to that, waves are going to pick up starting Saturday, not in height, but the wave periods are going to increase. That alone is going to raise the rip current risk Saturday. Then it gets a lot rougher. Monday, the peak day, it looks like over 10-foot waves at a 10-second period. Rip current risk and coastal flooding are going to be problematic. There aren't storm surge maps out just yet, but we will have those once they start getting issued from the Hurricane Center. I'd suspect more than Alberto, more than 3 to 3.5 feet at this point. Saturday, this is just going to go up day by day. Wave periods pick up. That elevates the rip current risk. Mainly sunny, hot, and humid otherwise. On Sunday, We'll start to see a little bit more rain, perhaps from the outer bands of Beryl as it approaches the South Texas, North Mexico area. Breezier easterly winds 10 to 20, gusting up to 30 on Monday. This is the higher impact day with the landfall in the morning. We'll see the strongest winds, heaviest rains, and biggest surf from whatever Beryl has to offer us. And by Tuesday, Beryl will be moving on. So this is going to be a Saturday through Monday type of thing, with Monday being the peak day for wind, rain, and surf. You need to keep up with the latest on the forecast because, again, those small changes in the forecast could mean big changes in the possible impacts at this point. You see those red days highlighted for the weather impact alert days. We're now talking about a tangible system, again, that is going to be affecting us heading into the weekend, more so on Monday. And rain chances after that, they will continue with that trailing tropical wave that's behind Beryl by about 2 days. That starts coming in on Wednesday, Thursday, giving us additional rain. So that's the latest. You know, I've held off on a long time to put the wind map, the rain map, but I just want to make sure we all know that those will change with any changes in that center path. So I just want to make that very clear.
Very good. Stay tuned. We'll have the latest right here. Okay. Thank you, Alan.